Chapter 3, People. I was shown gathered together in an arena a great multitude of people of all colours, classes, creeds, and languages. They were not talking, but just mingling. There was the most wonderful sense of peace, which seemed to rise from their very hearts and spread like great rays of light right across the world. I heard the words, "It is love that brings peace and unity. So keep the love flowing and bring peace and unity to the whole." A community, large or small, is made up of people. People who are unique as individuals and have unique gifts to bring to the whole, but who also know how to blend their own uniqueness with that of others in such a way that the good of each is at the same time the good of the whole. It is the very blending with others which results in the fulfillment of each one. This supreme value of the individual means that people are always more important than any outward form or structure in the community. Even in the early days, Eileen was taught by her inner voice to put people first. The relationship between you and Peter is the key to this place and creates the right atmosphere. This is not a surface thing, but a deep fundamental thing. In future, much care and sensitivity are necessary. This has been a day when you have to pour out to people and things have been put into the background. Always try to remember that at all times people must come before things and jobs. You will find, if you put people first and meet their needs, all this will fall into place and the jobs will be done. You must be prepared for more and more people coming to you. Know always that of yourself you are nothing, but as my channel you are invaluable. Keep yourself very open. Keep ever clear and purified so that you are my channel for my love. All through the years of building Findhorn, as many came and went, the same emphasis on the importance of people was held. There is much to be done here, but people must come before all else. You must never be too busy to give to a soul, but again guidance is needed over this as well, because some souls will come to draw. There must always be a giving and receiving, for as a soul gives, so will it receive. There is no mass production in the spiritual life. Each soul has a very special place. Each soul has a very special destiny. Some need help to realize their destiny. Others will plod along and reach there in the end. There is no set pattern to follow. Each one is an individual and should be treated as an individual. The need of a soul is far, far more important than the housework, washing, or anything else. So learn always to put first things first. It is only pride which makes you want to have everything tidy before you allow yourself to sit down. Be absolutely willing to sit in a complete muddle as long as you are doing my will, and know that at the right time all will be straightened up. These basic principles of the supreme value of the individual and the supreme value of the group unity were first learnt by Peter and Eileen in the small caravan in which they lived during the early years at Findhorn. In fact, it is true to say that they, with their 3 boys and Dorothy McLean, formed the first community. There, in a very confined space, they had to learn to live and work together in a new way. Sharp personality corners were rubbed off, tolerance and understanding were developed, all the lessons which later on in the community had to learn, which are the basis of group consciousness and group unity. It is important to keep the atmosphere of the caravan right. When you are cross or irritable, it shatters the vibrations. Then they all have to be built up again. That is why perfect peace is necessary. This does not mean the children have to be quiet. I want them to enjoy themselves, but at the same time, they need discipline. I have told you it would not be easy to achieve unity when you are all in such close contact with each other, but it is absolutely essential that you do achieve it, because without it, the work cannot progress. You will find that on higher issues you have found a wonderful unity, but you still have to find it in the small things, and this will not be so easy because the self is very inclined to step in. Just keep on. Try not to argue a point, even if you feel you are right and the other is wrong. If you find it irritates you too much, bring it quickly to me and let me give you the answer. Do this rather than even for 1 second cause disunity and disharmony. Pull yourself up a dozen times a day if necessary, but do it. It will be a complete victory over the powers of darkness when you have accomplished this state of unity amongst you. It can and will be done. Remember, it is my will you all want. Because of that deep longing in all your hearts, you will find perfect unity. Accept where you are at this time and the conditions you are living in as part of your intensive training for the days to come. In this way, you will not fight against it, but see it in the right light. How vitally important the unity between the three of you is. This is something to strive for. There is to be no looking into the past, but an acceptance of the absolute now in each one of you. All of you must be willing to accept the new from each other. Yes, complete new teaching at times. There can be no ruts. As each of you is shown the new, you will each have something quite different shown to you. Pass on that new. Share it with each other. If there are any doubts, bring them to me. I need perfect unity in this group, and perfect unity will be achieved. This is a time of consolidating, of blending together and binding together all of you who are so very, very different in every way. It is not always easy, but I never said it would be, as each of you have your corners rubbed off and start fitting into my perfect plan. You will be ever grateful. Living as you are at this time in such close quarters, you each have to learn a great sensitivity and understanding of each other. You are all completely different. You have each been given different qualities and gifts, and so you cannot be put into a mold. Without understanding, there will be constant conflict. To understand is to stretch your imagination. It is try to live into the other person's life. And this is a very difficult thing to do because it is so easy to trample and crush if you are not careful and are not very sensitive. This has a deep lesson for you all to learn, and learn as quickly as possible. What you are learning daily with the children and with each other can and will fan out into a vast work. It has to start right here where you are, because unless it starts at the source, it will soon become useless. You must remember that you are pioneers into the new. Problems you have and overcome will not only help you on your way, but will also help many who are learning to live as groups and are advancing into the new. You are a group and should be able to help each other over these difficulties far quicker as a group than struggling along on your own. Never at any time adopt a superior attitude. You are together to help each other. You have not been brought together by your own choosing. It is I who brought you together, placed you here in this specific place to do a very specific work for me. Everything is so carefully planned. Do nothing to upset the perfect planning. To find perfect harmony among you all needs a special effort on all your parts. It is not just one person's efforts. You are a group. You work as a group. You live as a group. Therefore, it needs group effort to attain harmony. I have brought you together here in this place to live like this, so that you can achieve this unity. It is up to all of you to do your part. There is so much work waiting to be done when you are a united group. There are lessons you all have to learn, living as a group in very close quarters. No longer can you just live just for the self, always it has to be for others. If you each go out of your way to do this, what a difference it will make to the entire atmosphere. How much quicker the work will go forward. Every now and again there is a blockage there because relationships are strained, because there is intolerance or criticism within. It does not always come out into the open or even to the surface, and that is worse, because something that is suppressed cannot have the light of truth shone upon it. It goes on festering, getting worse and worse. There must be unity between all of you, and it stems from you and Peter. Unity does not just drop into your lap. You have to strive for it. You really want it. It does mean give and take on all sides. True unity and true community is not simply that of workers who have a common purpose, or even that of a family with the bond of love. It is that deeper unity which can only come to those who know that they are one with each other, because they are all one with the divine. To see the essential divinity in each other is to be one on the deepest possible level. You need to learn tolerance, to feel deeply, and above all to love. And that means love with my divine love. That is what draws together and unites. I know how little irritations disunite you, because you're trying to create unity by yourselves instead of constantly seeking my help. You cannot do it, it is impossible. But with my help, all things are possible. Realize that your lives are all interwoven, and no matter how hard you try, you cannot get away from that fact. It is I who have interwoven your lives in this way. Try to accept it and not fight to get away. I want you to aim at perfect harmony in this place. You all need to learn to give and take far more, and a new gentleness and understanding is essential to bring true happiness and unity to your group. That will not come easily, because you are all such a lot of individuals, all pulling in different directions. The only thing that can possibly make you pull in the right direction is allowing me to guide each one of you. Constant conflict is exhausting, but when all is in harmony, it's a great uplift. Be ever conscious of our oneness, and in that state find the oneness with your fellow man. See the very best in him and draw forth the best. Ignore all that would disunite, building always on the positive. All of this starts within yourself. Find that uniting factor and love within your heart. Impart it to those in closest contact with you, and then to those a little further away. Then does that love grow until your heart has been so enlarged that it can take on the whole world, and you can feel really at one with the world. You can do it, and you will do it, but start exactly where you are. Attunement with the group has its true essence in attunement with God. This reminds us of the place which the sanctuary has in the community, as expressing our oneness with each other and in the beloved. These times of getting together in the mornings and evenings are of vital importance to the smooth and harmonious running of the whole. Never feel it is a waste of time, or that there is far too much to be done. Learn to drop everything and come to me for restoration and unification. Every moment spent together in my presence wields you together, enable you to go forth and do what has to be done with new zest and with love in your hearts, to bring perfection wherever you go in all you are doing. These times together are far more important than all the work that has to be done, for the work stems from these times. When you learn to love one another, learn to seek and find me in everything you do, however mundane, and do all to my honor and glory. This is the heartbeat of the whole thing. Get that right, that relationship with me and with each other, and the whole thing will run on oiled wheels, for the oil of love has been poured forth, and only the perfect can result. As the community began to grow with more and more people coming, the special gifts which each had needed to be recognized, and each had to be given the opportunity to develop these gifts to the full. Every soul who comes here brings with him another piece of the jigsaw puzzle which has to be fitted into the right place. There will never be two pieces exactly the same. There are times with a jigsaw when two pieces may look identical in shape, but you find the color or markings are entirely different. That is why no one who comes here has to be neatly pigeonholed, but allowed to grow and develop and bring forth these special gifts that have to be used for the whole. As each one gives, so will each receive. It works both ways. There is something for everyone to do, so learn to let go and share your burden. Every soul who is drawn here will have something unique to contribute to the whole. This is like a wonderful play being enacted. Each player has his or her part. All the players are not on stage at the same time, but each one comes onto the stage, contributes his part to the very best of his ability, then quietly withdraws to let the next take his part. Some of the parts will be leading parts, others just small ones, but all are needed to produce the perfect play. So work in unison, entering and doing your part, then withdrawing quietly into the background to watch and learn while the others take their part. There is such a perfect rhythm in all of this, just like the seasons of the year. So I say again, go with it all. Because each one had to develop their own unique qualities, they had to be given freedom to do so. There had to be no attempt to enforce conformity. Each soul must learn to stand on their own feet and sound their own note loud and clear. So will be found perfect unity in diversity. Never try to mold a soul. I alone am the potter. I alone do the molding. Living as a community would appear to be easier if all conformed to a pattern. On no account must this occur. Complete freedom of the spirit is the only answer in this way. Each one will care enough for the whole, so nothing of the little self enters in. You are pioneers. There are no charted maps to follow. Every step that's taken is taken into the new. Let me guide you. And mistakes will not occur, and no time will be wasted along the way, and every obstacle will be overcome with as little delay as possible. People, people, the world is made up of people. Open your heart wide and love people. Bring peace and harmony and understanding in the midst of you, because you are aware that I am in the midst of you. Try to realize that group living is the way of life in the new age. No longer will mankind be able to live unto himself as he moves into the new age. He will realize that he is part of my perfect temple and has a specific part to play. To enable the whole to function in perfect unison, each one has to find what their function is, and they can only do this by taking time to seek deep within, for that is where they will find the answer. Stop looking for the problems in group living. Look for the advantages and blessings. Take time to do this. See how much good you can find in this way of life. You will find, as you start doing this, concentrating on all the very best, the problems will begin to disappear one by one. You will realize how blessed you really are to have been brought face to face with this way of life. To become members of this group, it's important to adjust yourself to people and circumstances. You have to learn to love your neighbors. You have to learn to cooperate with them. You have to learn to see yourself as a member of a community, as part of a whole, rather than as self-important individuals. The little self has to be overcome to enable you to do this. When you stop thinking of the self and start thinking of those around you and how you can help and serve your fellow man, great changes will take place in your life and living. The supreme power which creates true oneness is love. It is this same power which enables each individual to find fulfillment and to realize all the unique hidden potential within. Therefore, the greatest quality people must develop, if they are to live in community, is love. By the same token, this is the first and the greatest need in the world, to bring peace and harmony to all life. It is love that will overcome the world. It is love that will unite all mankind. The sooner you realize the tremendous power of love within each one of you and allow it to flow freely, the sooner will you see world peace and harmony and the brotherhood of all mankind. When you have love in your hearts, all barriers come tumbling down. You behold your fellow man with new eyes. You see him as I see all my beloved children, perfect. And you draw the very best out of him, for love sees only the best, and therefore draws forth the best. The whole world needs love. You need love. Your neighbor needs love. There can never be too much love. With love comes peace, unity, understanding. With love comes universal harmony. Love those you're with. Love what you're doing. Love your environment. Love those who are your seeming enemies. Love the unlovable as well as the lovable. When love is guiding and influencing your lives, they will be full and abundant and will be fulfilled. In community, new forms and dimensions of relationship must be explored in many areas of life: friendship, marriage, work. The key to all is love. Love which sees and believes always the best, which knows and releases the divinity in all life. I want you to learn to do this. In every soul you come into contact with, see only the very best. See my image and likeness in that soul. All are made in my image and likeness. As you learn to do this, you will begin to draw out the perfect in every soul. There is that perfection in each one, but it has been so covered up that it's difficult to find, but it is there. And you can find it as you raise your whole attitude and see that soul from a completely different angle. When I spoke about love, I speak about the greatest uniting power in the universe. How misused, how trampled on, how misunderstood has that word love been through the ages. Now in the new age it is to find its rightful place, and hand in hand with light and wisdom work my wonders and glories. I need hands and feet and hearts for my divine love to flow through. Therefore surrender yourself anew to me each day, so that I can use you in this way as a channel for my divine love to flow through, by work, by deed, by simple little actions. Express my love. Let it pour through everything you do, no matter how mundane it may seemingly be. The love vibrations need to go into and through everything you do. What does love mean to you? You hear it, you speak of it, but what does it really mean to you? It's not a word, it's an essence, it's a power, it's a vibration, it's life. Love is the most priceless element in all existence. It is a dynamic living force. It is spiritual, eternal, all-powerful. Love banishes all evil. Love overcomes all fear. Love is a creative force of unlimited power. Love can restore, rebuild, and rectify. Love exalts and glorifies. Love rises above all that would drag it down into the mire. Love looks deeper than the surface. It looks beyond the visible, into the innermost depths of a man's soul. Love is a balm that contains the power of healing and renewing. It is a great refiner and beautifier. It is the key to every door. Love binds. Without love, the world would disintegrate. Love builds a bridge for light to cross. Love is the vehicle of light. Love and light must work hand in hand. One without the other cannot fulfill my laws in true perfection. As you open your hearts, you begin to understand the true meaning of love. A closed heart knows nothing of love. True love is never possessive. It never holds another soul in bondage, but longs to see every soul free and unfettered, finding its rightful place in the perfect scheme of things. Love is a heavenly gift. It is a free for all who are ready and willing to accept it. Love, in the true sense, is never easy. It goes against many of our natural impulses. Most of us are so selfish and self-centered that we have some hard lessons to learn before we can really love. In this regard, lessons which Eileen thought of as purely personal to herself have now to be learned by those who will be part of the New Age community. Whenever you are at your worst, you can always change very quickly. If you stop thinking about your condition, start thinking about those in desperate need, and then start radiating out to them. The very act of removing the focus off the self and onto someone else, the very attempt to feel for someone else and want to help, changes the whole rhythm. Next time you find yourself sinking lower and lower, try this and see what results you get. You cannot stand back and look on and criticize and expect to be used to help. You must know, you must feel, above all, you must love with my divine love to be able to be used in any way. It is so much easier to view it all from a distance, to close your heart so that you do not feel and you are left unhurt. But this is not what I require of you. You have no right to criticize anyone else or another's way of life, no matter what it may be. You may not go with it, but on no account are you to stand aloof and look down your nose and criticize. Remember, you are no better than anyone else. If it were not for my infinite love and patience, you would indeed be in the gutter, living in a hell of your own making. Spiritual superiority is like a filthy canker. It can rot the soul from within. It is not until it is too late it shows itself outwardly. Humility and a constant knowledge of my wondrous love and everlasting gratitude is very necessary, not just now and again, but at all times. The very act of reaching out to say thank you, the very thought of my love, brings you immediately into consciousness of me. Whenever you find yourself questioning the capability of loving a very unlovely soul, know that it is with someone like that the flow of love needs to be even greater. All you have to do is keep yourself clear as a channel with no limiting thoughts. Then I can work my wonders and bring about my miracles. The power of love is penetrating. Nothing can resist it in the end. Just pour it forth unstintingly. You can never give a soul too much of my divine love. It is absorbed like the dew into the flowers and vegetables. When the need is there, so does the love meet the need. You cannot make yourself love anyone. When you raise your consciousness, you are able to reach that state when you know that all is of me, knows nothing else, no separation, that every soul is of me, made in my image and likeness. Therefore you are one. As long as you remain in that raised state of consciousness, you know the meaning of divine love, and perfect peace and understanding fill your whole being. Peace, love, and harmony must flow from the very core of this community, and that starts with the family I have placed in your care and grows out of there to the bigger family and out into the world. But it has to start from within and then grow from there. Never for a moment imagine you can take the world on your heart without starting from right where I have placed you. Learn to love all those around you, then work out from there. When you throw a stone into a pool, the ripples start from where the stone hits the water and go out and out from there. Love starts from within a soul and goes out from that very center. Keep ever aware of my presence. Let me help you over the rough places. Never despair, never accept failure. Simply know that with my help, you will win through to victory. So, take time to listen to me. The secret of living in community can be summed up in the word oneness. Oneness with people, oneness with all life, oneness with God. Be one in my spirit. Oneness cannot be forced. Oneness is not the combining of people's thoughts and trying to make them live up to some prescribed standards set by one person. Oneness comes only when each one is free in spirit, when each one can live his own life to meet his highest idea. with no one trying to be a reformer or to set that standard. That is being one in my spirit. That is where you feel in the sanctuary as you gather each day. That is what you must carry forth into your daily lives and live and move and have your being in that oneness. When each person can truly find that spirit of oneness, whether it is in a home, a group, a community, a nation, or a world, then there will indeed be peace. Peace within, and therefore that peace will be reflected without and will manifest itself by peace for the whole. But it has to start somewhere. Therefore, let it start within you as the individual, and so grow from that tiny spark within to a mighty blaze without.